Hi everyone, RisingFunGaming here with the latest news regarding the new weapon-specific hunter arts that are coming with Monster Hunter Double Cross. We have recently come to know that each weapon will now get a fourth weapon-specific hunter art. So what are we looking at here at the moment? We're in fact looking at the latest update to the Monster Hunter Double Cross webpage regarding the hunter arts, and I'm going to go through each one individually now. And it's really nice to see the new armor designs coming with the game. I'm assuming we're looking at the Astalos Deviant, the good old Valfalk here, got the Gummator stuff, got the Deviant Diablos, and yeah, it's looking really fine. But anyway, first one up is the Greatsword with a new hunter art called Moonbreak. This is a rather acrobatic and heavy impact attack involving this cute special effect here that represents the titular moon. Using the weight of the Greatsword, this art is great for breaking monster parts. The hunter is impressively acrobatic as they launch into the sky, performing aerial twisting and turning before coming down with a devastating blow that easily flinches monsters. One of the other benefits noted in the recent Famitsu spread is that it should be a very accessible hunter art for beginners, which is a good point because pretty much every one of the other Greatsword specific arts require the player to have a decent knowledge of a given monster's movements in order to anticipate the best timing to use them. So yeah, it's looking pretty cool, and loving this Valfalk armor and Greatsword. Up next, naturally, is the Longsword with a new hunter art loosely translated to Demon Sword. If we want to get a little bit more artistic, Demon Sword of Rakshasa, the mythical beast that preys on humans and I believe sucks blood and all that sort of thing. It's kind of fitting when you hear what this actually does. You can see the hunter in a bit of a pose here. It's focusing energy into the Longsword's blade here, but in order to do so, it's siphoning the hunter's own HP to achieve this boon. When the hunter art is active, you're going to gradually lose HP, but you're going to get this attack power buff, which is really cool. But whilst you're losing your HP gradually, you can absorb HP from the enemies as you strike them, so you can keep everything in balance, or maybe even get some overall net healing effect, which is kind of cool. What an aggressive and scary art this is. It's an interesting concept that they have here and there in Double Cross, the idea of sacrificing health and or stamina to give yourself other benefits. Most notably, we've seen this in the new Brave style, with the new Brave style sheathing movements and whatnot. I've always adored all of the three Longsword hunter arts in Monster Hunter Cross, and I was kind of feeling that we were due for a dud art design, but looks like I was wrong, thankfully, and we're gonna get another really cool art here. So it's lucky for me and my much adored Longsword rather. It's getting cooler and cooler. Moving along now, we're going to the good old Sword and Shield, one of the most improved weapons going into Cross, and it looks like they're doing some cool stuff here with a new hunter art called Chaotic Blade Coating. So here's another hunter art that has a period of effect. It appears that the activation of the hunter art involves the hunter coating the shield with a uniquely coloured oil, which in conjunction with the frictional heat of your shield generated through attacking will set the shield and in turn the sword on fire, this purple fire here. This Chaos Oil grants the full set of 4 effects from the currently known stable of oils, namely Affinity, Stamina, Destroyer, and Mind's Eye. To make things even crazier, you can choose to apply one of the pre-existing oils from the list above, whilst this hunter art is already active, to stack the effects of it. That's pretty nuts. And I'd be interested to know if the stacking is a true doubling of things like affinity numbers and stun damage, or if it's like a multiplier like 1.5 or something like that. I'm also pondering how this is going to stack for things like Mind's Eye oil, whether it gets you another bonus on top of that or something. I can't wait to learn more about this in the future. It's looking really cool. Next we've got the Dual Blades, and this one is quite simple. The name of this one is Rasenzan, or Spiral Cutter. They go on to recommend that you seek out the monster's weakest parts for this one, because it's a launching forward spin attack. And if you should hit monsters' weak parts and really drill yourself in there and carve out great damage, it's going to be kind of beneficial to seek them out. It really reminds me of the Adept style dodge attack for the weapon, but obviously this one is going to be the big daddy to that in terms of attack power. It seems cool, but I guess it was too difficult for them to top Wolf's Maw, which I predict will remain to be chosen over this one if you are made to choose between the two. Still, I look forward to testing out this forward spinning drill attack. Hopefully take out some heads with it, be pretty cool. After this one, we're going into the hammer, the new hunter art called Impact Pulse. When this hunter art is active, your charged attacks will have an additional shockwave to them, which you can see sort of the animation there, I believe. Now, it appears that high energy shockwaves are generated through a vacuum created by the negative pressures associated with the hunter being able to quickly pull the hammer back up from a strike. The properties of the shockwave in terms of how damaging they are, and additional damage types like stun, exhaust, and or any other special effects, still a bit of a mystery, so it will be nice to find out that sort of stuff closer to launch. In my personal opinion, I think that these shockwaves will definitely have stun values attributed to them, which is going to make it easier for hammer beginners and experts alike to secure a KO. But yeah, that's a little bit of a guess on my behalf. Up next we've got the hunting horn, and this one's hard to translate. It's Animato High, which I think is High Animato, and Animato is I think it is a musical term from Italian, which may or may not refer to the liveliness in which notes can be played, and maybe high just means high, so highly lively playing or something. Kind of makes sense when you hear the description of this. It's an art that features lots of evasion to swift recital chainings. So you're kind of doing lots of evades and you're getting up and doing recital attacks and things like that, chaining them together. And it also appears as though you're reciting the songs in the midst of the evasion animation as well, which is pretty crazy and very, very interesting. Whilst this hunter art is active, you can repeatedly evade with what reads as extra invulnerability time maybe, and as I said, launch into these recitals. Seems like they are trying to further promote that hunting horn is supposed to be used as an aggressive weapon, and being afforded potentially extra invulnerability between these recitals and whatnot and encores could be really, really strong and inspirational for people to try the weapon out for themselves. Exactly which button commands are involved in performing the recital and evasion chains is something I'm keen to find out. Whether it's just, whilst the hunter art is active, just evading, and if you've got a song queued up, it's automatically reciting.Maybe that's the way it's going to go. But yeah, it's going to be cool to find out for reals. The horn might finally have a worthy hunting art, so that's a little bit of hype. After this, we've got the lance hunting art, and we're going to call this one loosely translated as Healing Shield. It's a really cool concept. The hunter's going to coat their shield with a healing potion. When the hunter then goes on to block an attack, the impact of it will scatter the healing potion over the hunter, healing him. But not only that, if there are party members close by, they're also going to be sprinkled with it, healing them as well. What we don't know yet is the scope of the healing potions able to be used, though I'd guess that it's restricted to maybe potion and mega potion, but again, it's just me guessing. It doesn't specifically mention a time of effect or number of uses, so I'd love to know if this is usable across multiple blocking events or just the one. Additionally, I would also like to know how much healing you can expect and whether this is affected by the strength of the blocked attack. We have seen that we've seen this kind of dynamic with the Enraged Guard, where the more powerful the attack guarded for that hunter art, the more powerful the energy you get on your lance. So I think it would be a cool concept if stronger knockback attacks would scatter more healing potion on the recipients, giving them more healing and perhaps even more range to get the party members. Be pretty cool to find out. Up next we've got the good old fun lance, Gunlance, and it's got something called AA Flare. AA Flare? Anti-air, I think it might stand for, especially when you read the description for this. It's a hunter art that specializes in skyward shelling blast attacks, which should be very useful in countering flying monsters. So after blasting all your shells together into the air, you immediately follow up with a Wyvern Fire. This is the first time that I know of, at least in the main series, that you can aim a Wyvern Fire upwards with a Gunlance. It's noted here though that when your lance is cooling down from a previous Wyvern Fire, the second part of the hunter art is not available. So don't mind this one at all, it sounds pretty good. Up next we've got the Switchaxe with a hunting art called Tempest Axe. With this one they have obviously acknowledged that most people spend a lot of their time in sword mode, so to combat this I think they've come up with a hunter art that whilst active powers up the axe and probably promotes more axe play. During this art's active period it feels as if the axe is made lighter, allowing the hunter to attack more rapidly, and it gives the ability to perform a strong downward cutting finisher. Seems like it's finally time to ask more questions. Cheesy jokes aside, you can see this awesome finisher, and also what's really cool, some of you might know that the Lao Shan Lung is returning, and that's got to be his armor, and that's got to be his Switchaxe. It's looking really awesome. Up next we've got a lot of people's favorite, the Charge Blade. It's got an interesting name to its new hunter art, Chainsawcer. Looks to be some sort of pun on chainsaw and maybe saucer perhaps. Maybe they grabbed some inspiration from the spinning cup and saucer ride at their beloved Disneyland. I don't know. Fun name nonetheless. So upon activation of this particular hunter art, the mechanical structures of the weapon use a strong boost to spin the shield, which makes it act like a bit of a chainsaw. You can see it spinning around there. Now, as the spinning shield strikes the monster, it absorbs charge, and at the end of the art, this charge is transferred to the vials. You also have the option of finishing the art with an R button pressed to transfer the charge straight into your shield, which I believe they've done here with this little animation here. You can see the shield has the yellow color. It's in the charged state. It's going to be fun to watch this one in action, and I can definitely see it as a good partner art to Limit Breaker 3. I'm quite interested to know what charge time this art has. Hoping it would be fairly quick to charge it up to use it to really justify equipping it on my hunter. Following Charge Blade we've got the Insect Glaive, and this one is kind of hard to translate. I'm going to call it Bug Booster. This hunter art calls upon special insects to awaken the potential of your main hunting bug. The summoned insects and your hunting bug form a symbiotic relationship, and in exchange for the stamina that your main bug has to provide here, the smaller insects boosts its movement speed by a remarkable degree apparently. You can send the bug out in a spinning motion, which I'm not sure is distinct from the charge spin shot, but nevertheless, if the bug connects with a monster, it does a high speed spinning combo attack, which sounds pretty boss. This should deal pretty nice damage, and I forecast that this will perhaps be pretty useful for breaking certain parts of the monster, especially if you tag the parts you want to break with a pheromone. This undoubtedly will make you think more about whether to swap a cutting type bug in for an impact type, and vice versa. If you're looking to do some part breaking with this specific hunter art, it's looking really interesting, isn't it? Up next we've got the light bowgun with something called Charge Shot. This hunter art is a fun concept. It takes level 1 normal shot and utilizes some gunpowder that seems to be packed in the weapon somehow to act as a catalyst to increase the power of the shots. The shots can be charged in a similar fashion to Greatsword, allowing for 3 levels of charge. Whilst the theory sounds cool, I wonder how attractive this hunter art will actually be in the end. You have to spend all this time to charge the damn shot, so you would hope that its damage outshines other stronger shot types that can be shot faster or at a similar pace. Perhaps it will be useful in the start of the game when your guns aren't so impressive, or in times when you've run out of other bullets, but it's really hard to guess their intentions here without getting the damage numbers for it. I mean, guns now have the internal shots from Monster Hunter Cross onwards, so running out of shots really shouldn't be a thing. It would seem like a bit of a waste if its use is restricted to times of desperation or for early games. So here's hoping that there is an attractive side, that there is an attractive side to the art, as it feels kind of like a gimmick at this point, doesn't it? Anyway, going on to Heavy Bowgun here, and this hunter art is extremely hard to translate. It's 6 kanji put together, and none of them in combination form any sort of logical Jukugo word, but I guess loosely translated, let's call it shrapnel shot. Now, according to this, the art involves shooting iron stakes or shrapnel-like objects. you perform some highly pressurized charging explosive shot, and this spews forth these red hot fragments. It's kind of hard to see here in the image, but it's shooting out these red hot iron fragments, giving them superb cutting power. It's noted that you can utilize the shield attachment to afford yourself protection from being flinched out of the art, which is always nice to know. I can just imagine the visceral delight of shooting a pressurized payload of shrapnel to sever that pickle of stupid Deviljho, so I'm definitely going to try out this one. And the final new hunter art is for bow, of course, and this one loosely translated is evasive archery. As the name suggests, this gives you the best of defense and offense. Your hunter will evade in a backwards motion and charge the bow during the animation. At the end of the evade, you can just let it attack the monster straight away, or you can hold down the charge button to release it at your leisure. You'll remember that this kind of thing was a feature of guild style bow, for example, so they have done some things to set this apart from that. If you use this and you evade past a monster, your hunter will also do a melee stab attack on the way through, which is really cool. Another cool thing is the charged attack that you have for this ignores critical distance for the damage calculations. It doesn't say anything about an activation duration for this one, so I think it is a standalone one-time activation art. So if that's the case, you'd imagine that the hunter art gauge charge time would be quite low. So a pretty cool concept. So that's that's about it for the video. I guess as a final thought, I'm kind of curious that they still haven't given us any news regarding hunter arts, whether they're going to have a new maximum level to them. Something I feel that would be probably quite suitable for G rank. So all the pre-existing weapon specific hunter arts, whether there's a level 4 to them and indeed a level 4 to these new ones, yeah, that'd be interesting to know. But we're going to have to, as always, continue to wait and see regarding those. This is the end of the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. It's been really fun learning what these new hunter specific hunter arts do. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to let me know through a comment and liking and that sort of good stuff. But that's going to do for now. As always, I'm RisingFunGaming, thanking you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye for now.